It's great to stay up late. Good morning, reality benders. It is July 28th, it's 27th, and I'm coming to you with a vlog today because I haven't vlogged in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna show you the fam bam. Today's gonna be a pretty chill day, pretty chill. I don't have a lot to do. I'm gonna edit a video, and what I'm really excited about is we're getting rid of our table, and I'm turning our dining room area space into a yoga space because I've been trying to figure out how to film classes at home, and everything that I have to move around with just 2 kids, it takes too much. It's just too much. It's too much. We're just gonna get rid of the dining space, use the island to eat at, and turn that area into a yoga space so that I can bring you guys more consistent yoga content. I've been working on figuring out this yoga content for a while, so please bear with me. But I'm really excited about today's video because it's a really personal one. And I feel like if you've been on my channel for a while, you've seen my journey, and I'm really excited to talk to you about it. But I want to discuss the idea of confronting what you don't like about yourself, because the ability to confront what you don't like about yourself is a skill that is not really accessible at the beginning of your journey because of ego and learning how to work through ego. My baby's crying. But once you realize that all of your personality traits have been developed over the course of your life based off of your experiences, it's a little easy to step back and say, well, I feel this way because this is learned behavior. And then you can start to unlearn behavior. But there's a first step. There's the step of realizing that you're not perfect. And this can be for our personality, but this could be also how we feel about our appearance. And that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about today, because my lack of worthiness due to how I feel about my appearance can really hold me back. Being abandoned as a child, being made fun of for my skin complexion from the second I entered school, being made fun of for my hair, going to college for theater and acting, and then always being the last picked, always being placed in certain roles. You know, I feel like I've really experienced a lot of programming when it comes to how I should feel about my appearance, especially in comparison to the American standard of beauty. And I've done a lot of unlearning over the years. So that's my journey. But that doesn't have to be your journey. It doesn't have to do with your appearance. It can have to do with how you feel about your ability to work hard, how you feel about your ability to have nice things, how you feel about your ability to communicate with others. What do we run away from when it comes to looking at ourselves as people? What don't we want to admit to ourselves? For a long time, I didn't want to admit to myself that I didn't like the way that I looked. But when I learned that I didn't like the way that I looked, let's go check on the baby. Oh my goodness, guys. Olivia, I'm trying to film. Ma'am, I'm trying to film. Can I film, please? I love you. Oh, you see how my precious angel scratched her lip? I know. That's gonna feed you so soon. Hi, Delilah. Oh, you got some teeths coming in. Mwah. You got some teeths coming in. Mwah. I thought you were crying. Oh, now you might cry. Oh gosh. Okay, I know. Come on, you can come with me to finish filming this part. I know. Life is difficult sometimes. So like I was saying, when I learned that there were parts of myself that I didn't like and I really looked at it head on, I realized that's not how I wanted to live. And that's when I started my lock journey, because that was the first time I ever felt beautiful with my own hair. And I started to just grow on top of that. And I'll talk to you guys more about it as the video goes on, but I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't just decide to take a real look at what was holding me back. Okay, I'm gonna go shower. and get ready to film a video. Ooh, I'm gonna make some coffee. So I think I'm going to try to edit 2 videos while I am sitting down here today, just to try to start cultivating my energy for the next week to help myself feel more prepared and ready. I have to edit the video that's going up tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And then I have to edit an interview I did with my friend Andrea. That video is going to come out after this one. So make sure that you have your notifications turned on so that you can see that video with me and Andrea, because we're talking about how childhood trauma makes limiting beliefs, and it's gonna be good. The first thing that I do want to discuss before I jump into editing is this idea of being happy with yourself, with being comfortable with yourself. It is impossible to manifest intentionally if you do not feel worthy of good things. You cannot feel worthy of good things if you do not feel good about yourself. It does not align. If you think that you are not worthy of being in the room with other people, if you think that you are not worthy of having an abundance of money, if you think that you are not worthy of being loved, you're not going to be able to receive all the things you're hoping to manifest, because subconsciously you don't think that you deserve those things. The white balance on this camera be killing me. But I'm too lazy to go in and do it manually. I should. The deepest gift that YouTube has given me is forcing me to look at myself every single day or almost every day, whether I'm editing photos, whether I'm editing videos, whether I'm just rewatching my own content to figure out what direction I want to take my content. The gift that YouTube has given me is forcing me to confront how I feel about the way that I look. And as I was saying earlier, I realized that I was not thriving. My belief system that revolved around how I felt about my appearance was affecting my ability to manifest. So when you start to sit back and contemplate how you feel about yourself, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, when you look at your weaknesses, I think it's really important to be aware of the emotions that you're feeling when you're evaluating your weaknesses and which one of your weaknesses makes you the most emotional. I knew for sure that it was my appearance because I've always been very sensitive about my appearance. And I realized that I have 2 options. I can survive or I can thrive. I try to look at any limiting belief in that way. I can hold on to the limiting belief and I can just try to survive through it. Or I could take the limiting belief and find a way to make it serve me so that it can contribute to me thriving in life. And when it came to my appearance, I just realized that I want to be over the moon about how I look. I want to wake up in the morning and know that I'm gorgeous. And I'm on that journey and I've gotten so far. And you know, I wish I could say that these things happen overnight, and according to YouTube, for some people it does, but I know that I'm making progress against years and years of conditioning, especially conditioning that took place when I was 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I feel myself really moving against resistance and learning how to flow with my thoughts instead of becoming so angry with myself for something that was out of my control. Just as a disclaimer, I still do love makeup. I love playing with makeup. I love experimenting with makeup. I just know that personally I was guilty of using makeup as a crutch. Sometimes I still use makeup as a crutch if I need a little confidence boost. And I don't mean on YouTube. I use makeup on YouTube because I'm filming and cameras and all that stuff. But I mean, even in like real life, if I know I'm going to meet people, if I know I'm going to the store on a day that I have a little bit more anxiety, I'll use makeup to help me get my mood up. But I want to learn how to not need it as much. So that's where I am on my journey. But there's been so much freedom with becoming comfortable with how I look, not feeling so dependent on my physical beauty and my physical value. I have been able to download the understanding that, first of all, I have this pressure to be beautiful because of the patriarchy, right? And the patriarchy does not pay my bills, quite the contrary. So that's one thing I realized. This pressure to always be perfect, to always be beautiful, is a very anti-feminist idea. And I try to lean into that. But on the other side, that does not mean that I am not beautiful, that I'm allowed to be beautiful from my gaze, not the gaze of a man, not the gaze of someone who finds me sexually attractive. And that's something that I'm working through and understanding more and more. Again, programming. But this freedom allows me to do things like vlog and just get on camera to deliver whatever content I want to without this stress of, oh my God, everyone's gonna think I'm so unattractive, who's gonna wanna follow my content? Because it used to be that serious, and anyone who's ever had self-esteem issues, you know what I'm talking about. There's a freedom that comes with working through that. You're able to do more without as much anxiety, without as much weight on your shoulders. And in doing more, you're able to take steps that get you towards your desired reality, steps that you would not have been able to take if you were still being held back by that limitation that you feel defined by.
If a child is involved in some kind of a trauma, whether they're being abandoned, neglected, abused, they're triggering their limbic system. Okay, so this is
Oh, hi AJ. What's up, honey?
But I need to go on Mimi's.
We're not going to Mimi's, we're going on a mission. I am too excited about this video. I put on some light makeup. Husband, looking fine as anything. Get a good look at this corner. Future yoga corner. Coming soon. I'm excited. So, I think we're gonna go to Target because we live at Target. And before I go, I wanted to let you guys know that if you don't look at what you don't like about yourself, if you run away from it, you're gonna end up overcompensating for that part of yourself that you're running away from. So my example would be, I was running away from how I felt about my appearance, and I kept overcompensating for my appearance by putting on tons and tons of makeup, which there's nothing wrong with putting on a lot of makeup, but what I was doing was not taking care of my natural skin underneath. I put so much emphasis on trying to look a certain way that I wasn't focusing enough on enhancing my natural beauty. And I think that that says a lot about our belief systems, right? Because I had a belief system that I couldn't learn to love how I looked. So once you face the part of yourself that you're running away from, you can start to challenge your belief system. You can start to ask yourself, do I really believe that I cannot change this part of myself? I realized that I could love the way that I looked, but it wasn't going to come from changing my appearance. It was going to come from enhancing the beauty that I already had. I believed that I could trust myself to love myself no matter what the outcome of this self-love journey was. I just chose to trust that I could love myself anyway, and that helped me lean into really becoming excited about skincare and the natural things that I could do to feel good about the way that I look. So now, you know, I can just like fill in my brows, put on some concealer, and be happy, when 3 years ago, if I was putting on makeup, it was like a whole hour and a half routine. It's a lot of growth for me. Good morning. It's like 2 days later, but life just happened. You can probably see a glimpse of my yoga studio behind me. I'll give you more of a look at that later. But it's morning. It's like 8:56, almost 9. And I usually wake up with a lower vibration. I think it's just a part of my internal programming. I usually wake up and start to think about everything that could go wrong during the day. So my morning routine usually consists of washing my face, taking care of myself, making my bed, getting my babies, changed and ready for the day, drinking some water. And when I say ready for the day, I mean like just clothed, okay? And I have started to pray in the mornings, like audibly to God, and it's made a world of difference. So I'm gonna try to keep this vibration work going. I'm gonna read the Bible a little bit. I have a devotional that my friend let me borrow. It breaks down the Bible a little bit more. I might have told you guys about it already, but I'm gonna read that for a little while. Make AJ some breakfast, and yeah, the days that Adam's not here, I don't really focus so much on being productive. I more so focus on my mental health and being present with my babies. It is amazing how putting on an outfit and praying, sitting, spending time with Source can just get your vibration right back where it needs to be. And I'm just grateful that I have a routine to get me here, because it's our natural function to wake up and think of all the problems of yesterday. And I've been hearing a lot of news about the panini, and it's been making me kind of anxious. So I've been kind of going into overdrive with the self-care. But as long as I know how to get myself good, that's all I care about, and my family. As long as I know how to get us mentally strong, that's all that matters. AJ, no, don't touch it. Let her try to get it. Did I tell you guys that I'm actually intermittent fasting? I'm doing that too. It is 10:12, and this is around the time, let me try to face the light so you can see me. This is around the time I start to get a little bored. I want to do something, and because I am spending time with my darling children, I don't really get to express the inspiration that comes to me for work. Like, I can't fully express it. And that can lead to wanting to stress eat. So 10 a.m. is usually around when I want to start munching. I don't know if I told you guys I am intermittent fasting because it gives me a discipline I've never had before. And yes, you can lose a ton of weight intermittent fasting, because you can start to check your habits, you can start to make sure you're not emotionally eating, and also you can get your body out of the cycle of always processing food. But if you want me to talk more about intermittent fasting, let me know. But this is a time where I start to get into that mindset of I should be working, I should be doing a bunch of stuff, and then I want to just go to the kitchen, sit with the kids, and watch TV and eat. So I don't like doing that. I was doing it as a crutch. So instead, What am I gonna do instead? I would bring the kids out here, but the floor is a little bit too hard for Libby Lou to crawl on just yet. I'm gonna make some coffee. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drink some black coffee and go read a book to the kids. I think that's a good plan. And let me just say, I am like really feeling it right now. Like I'm really feeling like I want some sugar, because that's the thing. I crave the sugar. I do not feel hungry. My stomach is not communicating, eat more food. I want sugar. I want a cookie. I want to put a bunch of cream and sugar in my coffee, but I don't want to depend on things, and I want to stop making my brain dependent on things. You know, I really should make a whole video about why I'm intermittent fasting. It's changed a lot for me. And I know some of you may be thinking, well, you're just switching from one addiction to another. You're switching from a sugar addiction to a caffeine addiction. It's a real big difference for me. Caffeine, I can go days without drinking coffee. I just really enjoy making coffee. Sometimes I'll even make it for my husband and not even drink it myself. So just in case you're concerned about that for me, don't worry. Caffeine addiction is not as intense for me as my sugar addiction. What would you like to read?
I like myself and or Super P and P plays ball.
Cat. Play ball.
Yeah.
Created by James Dean. It's the big game. The rocks are playing the roles. Pete and his team get set. They play catch. They take turns hitting. Pete waits for his turn. What numbers do you see?
I see 7 and 4. And Compensating. And 9
Yep,
and 12.
that's right.
And then 4, 5, 8.
That's right. Pete did his best. He had fun. What a great game. Yeah. Today is going to be...
A great day.
Today is going to be...
A great day.
Today is going to be...
A great day.
Yay! You gonna do it again?
Yes.
Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a great day. Yay! Good job, Pumpkin. Also, you guys, my podcast with my friend Sandy has just been released. So I'm gonna stick this in the description box if you want to listen to our conversation. It's a really good one.
Holding you up, so there's nothing I can do today.
I'm so glad that I got to practice. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start to wrap the vlog up. So I'm gonna give you the last bit of this vlog's message. I wanna remind you that shadow disperses when you shine light onto it. So whatever part of yourself that you're afraid of, that you're running away from, that you think is too powerful for you to confront, just know that when you meet that part of yourself with compassion and self-love, it will take away the intensity of the heaviness of that feeling. And it can take time, because self-love and worthiness, it can be a process, learning true self-love and learning what it really feels like to feel worthy of any experience that you can have on this planet, there's unlearning that has to happen. There is mental expansion that needs to take place. So the only way I feel like you can start the process is by committing to the process and committing to loving yourself fully, even the parts of yourself that you don't like. By embracing those parts, you're able to confront them instead of running away and then getting into cycles created by your problematic behaviors, for lack of better words. The only way to solve a problem is to acknowledge it. So I want you to know that you are capable of looking within yourself and confronting the parts of yourself that you do not like, that you think are too scary to actually own up to. You know, I love thinking about my growth and the bad habits that I used to have. I love the feeling I get when I realize that I have grown. And you only know that you've grown because you can acknowledge that the behavior wasn't the best you. When you look back on your behavior, you may say, oh, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. But in the moment, you thought it was okay. And now in this moment, you're like, that was not okay. That's growth. So I think it's so powerful we can acknowledge that growth and roll with it and open our hearts to what we manifest and what we attract based off of believing in ourselves a little bit more and seeing that we are capable of being the humans that we know we're supposed to be. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I am going to eat something, probably grits, because I love grits. And I'm gonna end the vlog here. I love you guys with all my heart and all my soul. And I'll see you next time. Bye.